Freestyle Travel. Hey everybody, this is Kenflannery. This is the Freestyle Travel Show, and this is the first video version. For those of y'all listening, I've got this up on the YouTube channel now. YouTube, I guess just search for Freestyle Travel. Freestyle Travel Show. Up until now, there's been 74 episodes, and I've uploaded them to YouTube, but it's just been a still image and me talking. So now, probably going forward, I'm gonna do video if I can. So I'm here in Texas. Where am I in Texas? Elmwood, close to Palestine, Texas, kind of halfway between Dallas and Shreveport. And my guest today is Liz Stewart. That's who's going to be on the show. I came here to visit her on this beautiful little spot. And afterwards, I'll catch you up on all my travels. But we're sitting here in this fancy little spot because she's working on this like wedding venue event property. It's just a beautiful spot. They're doing everything from culinary, foodie adventures. TexasFoodieAdventures.com is the website for what this is. So they set up a kind of staged a thing where they have couples and stuff and cater to these just beautiful, beautiful dinners for them. So I helped take a bunch of photographs, been flying the drone up in the air, doing all this stuff, and yeah, decided to get Liz on the podcast for was it the fourth time?
Yeah,
Fourth or fifth time. So yeah, episode 75 with a little bit of video aspect. But for those of y'all listening, you can keep listening. It's going to be the same thing. So yeah, I'll just pop into conversation with Liz, and then I'll catch up on my travels. Cheers.
Let's get hopping.
Yeah, thanks for being on the first ever
Cheers.
video podcast.
I'd be pissed if it were anyone else.
Well, welcome back.
Hello, I'm back.
Refresh my memory. When's the last time we actually did this?
January of last year.
Of last year? It's
Yeah.
over a year ago?
Yep.
I've seen you since then, though, right?
You have seen me since then.
Okay. It's like, I don't think it's been that long.
Well, I wasn't necessarily P already.
And what now? Just surrounded by forks and knives.
Well, for the price of 2 forks. I'm just kidding. No, we had a wonderful dinner here. We were at Elmwood Gardens in Palestine, Texas, and it is amazing. And this is my new home. This is where I ended up. This is my life.
Yeah. How long have you been here? I've been here for a few days.
A couple weeks. Just accepted the position and flew out. I didn't know really what to expect. I'd put my portfolio online after I had an artist residency in Kansas City, and put my portfolio online. Got a phone call from the owners, which I thought it was a scam, but I was like, after everything I've been through, if I do get sex trafficked, at least I took the chance.
There you go.
So I was with it. I was like, sure, why not? I don't have any reservations about, I have ideas, but I don't have any plans.
I know how that goes.
So, yeah, they called me on a Tuesday. I was on a plane on Saturday, and here I am working under an executive chef and a master gardener, and it's unreal. I'm helping people plan fairy tale weddings, and I'm hosting events again.
Yep. I was photographing lobsters today. Did not expect that.
Lobsters, lamb shanks, like it's the real deal. So
yeah. Turn their photo shoot into my podcast studio. Here we go. If you're just listening, get on YouTube and search for, what's the name of my show? Freestyle Travel Show.
Yeah. Cheers to forgetting the name of your own show.
Yup. This is episode 75. So all the other videos are on YouTube, but it's just a still image of whatever.
Oh, we're the first live. Hey.
Yeah, so there we go.
Right on.
So the last time I saw you, the last time we did a podcast was, I do remember doing that at Waypoint in Kansas City, the sort of like Airbnb/hostel kind of vibe. So what has happened since then, just to catch everybody up? Anything cool? Anything crazy?
A lot.
How much meth did you take?
More than I should have.
Okay.
So I'm gonna own. You have to name your demons. And I had been on the podcast before, and I talked about being addicted to a substance. I would never name it. And I'm gonna name it. I was addicted to methamphetamines, and I was an IV drug user, and I want to dedicate this episode to Nick Stern, who was my boyfriend in Albuquerque, who I left to go do basically ran away to go do drugs. We were both addicts, and he was an amazing musician, and he passed away this summer, drug overdose, and it was a huge catalyst for a lot of things in my life. But he was a great person.
Did you, how'd you take it?
Poorly. I relapsed. I went into a total spiral. I relapsed hard. I was, a lot of old behaviors came up for me. So January's here. We interview, like the day we interview, Rob and I break up. And,
oh, yeah.
yeah, Rob and I broke up while you were still there, but we still released the podcast because, it was all shit that had happened. You know what I mean? So Rob and I break up, and I was devastated. I loved Rob.
He's a good guy.
He was he's still an amazing guy. Rob's sober. Rob got sober.
Okay.
Rob got sober before me. Yeah. He did?
Yeah, once in a while. I'll hear from him.
Yeah, great.
It's cool as shit.
That's great. He's an amazing person, and thank God he's sober. I'm sober. Nick's in heaven.
Yep. So you're 90 days sober today.
90 days today, yeah. So I guess I'll start with January. Rob and I break up. I managed to stay sober a little bit longer, and I relapsed. Rob ended up moving back Rob moved across the country, and I just never saw him again. And I took that very hard. I shared a lot with him, and I loved him. And we were both really sick people. We weren't bad people, we were sick people.
Yeah.
And we found each other.
Yep.
And I think that has a lot to do with us both being alive. Totally. And he's sober, I'm sober, Nick's in heaven, and, shit happens, but...
That was this past summer with Nick?
Yeah, so we were in Portland, and remember I was going to go with you, and I said, I'm going to go back home. I was like, I'm not feeling it, I'm going to go home. I was in a super slump.
Yeah.
I'd been battling my addiction on and off. I kind of dabbled in things before I came out there, and I was super depressed. So I was like, I'm gonna go to Portland. Maybe that'll cheer me up and get me out of this funk, because honestly, travel and staying on my toes and stuff is good for me, because it's
huge.
I can't get addicted to shit if I'm constantly on the go,
For those listening, watching, Liz joined me for the last, the finale, basically, of the hopping filming.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And actually, you helped film one of the breweries when my Nick took off.
Yeah.
Unexpectedly.
It worked out that I came out. I was in a total slump, but I came out. I was able to help film, and I was at least able to do that much, and I'm grateful for that. We've been huge supporters of each other, from the jump, and it's always great to work with you.
That's the last time I saw you.
That's the last time you saw me. It was in the summer in Portland. Yeah, and I was just I was like a zombie.
So that was July. That was after Nick passed?
Yeah, that was me. I flew back home on the 4th of July.
Right.
So it was the end of June. Nick passed away on June 30th.
Okay, right.
And I found out when I got back home. And I'm still dealing with it. I'm going to plant sunflowers, a garden of sunflowers here in his memory, so he can live here with me. Nick gave me the gift of music. He got me playing guitar,
So have you been in Kansas City since July then? Up until
Yeah. So January, February. This is important. So I relapse February, March of last year, and I get back online. I met Rob on Reddit. I get back online, and I was looking for Rob. I was lost. I was totally lost. I felt like I had no one, So I got back online. I'm searching for Rob, which if you go looking for trouble, you always find it. You know what I mean? Rob's not there. Rob's getting his life together. I'm miserable on drugs, looking for my next fix. And I meet this guy, and I fly to Philadelphia to see him and basically do drugs. So this guy's just pumping me full of drugs, and I end up staying out there for, 2-3 weeks, something like that. I just didn't leave. And I started becoming more and more and more introverted, and I become a recluse, basically.
While you're in Philly?
Yeah, I just withdrew from everything, and I ended up flying back home. My friends are like, look, if you don't come back, we're done with you, because I just kind of abandoned my life here and gone to Philly. And I remember being so sick in an Uber on the way to the airport, and I got to the airport and I was just totally fucked up at the airport. And I flew back home, and I was just lost. I was just a really lost person. I was a tortured, lost soul. And I'm trying to stay sober, can't do it, can't get 3 or 4 days. I mean, it was bad.
Are you back at Waypoint when you get back from Philly?
Yeah. So I go back, and so then I come out with you. I came to Biloxi, and I meet this photographer online. He's got this picture of this yellow bridge.
So that's the last time I saw you.
Well, this is prior to the summer. So this is like
before the
March
summer?
of last year.
Okay.
Yeah, this was like March of last year. So March of last year, I meet this photographer online. I wanted to go back home. I was so homesick, but I was scared to go back home because of the threats that had been made against me due to my political activism.
Right.
I was terrified. People threatened to assassinate me in broad daylight. Like, I'm still recovering from all this shit.
This is going back to the March for Marijuana.
Yeah, and people, God, I got hit up. I mean, I'm still getting shit for it online, to this day. I've had to I just delete and block at this point, but I'm still being harassed, and it's not cool, because you never know when to take that shit seriously. You know what I mean? People threatened Martin Luther King Jr. Well, he died. Yeah. Somebody shot John Lennon. Yeah. And somebody's telling me they're going to put a bullet in me. I take my life seriously. My life matters. Yeah. And
just for anyone who hasn't heard the original podcast, you tried to throw a March for Marijuana in Alabama in 2018. Mm-hmm. And things got
I didn't
crazy.
pick a side. I never picked a side, and everybody thought because I didn't pick a side, I was against them. But I was no one's opposition. I was a human rights activist.
Yeah, you'd have to listen to the first that episode. Yeah. I forget what number it is.
25. Episode 25. 50 episodes later.
Oh, wow.
Look at us go.
Nice.
Yes.
So listen to that to get the whole story, but that's where all the drama is coming from.
Yeah.
Death threats and the rest of it.
I didn't go home. I didn't see my family for 4 years over that shit. Damn. And people can say whatever they want to about what I did, but what I did was damn respectable. What I did was respectable, and I left. I didn't put anybody's life in danger. Had I shown up at that event, I would have been putting in danger 5,000 lives of people who lived in my community, and I'm not going to do that. Yeah. I was within my rights to leave. I left, got strung out on drugs, ended up, falling in love with Nick. Nick dies. Rob got sober. And anyway, so March of last year, I come out to see you. You're in Biloxi. Yeah. And I was like, fuck this. I'm getting on a plane. I'm getting out of here. That's my go-to. That's been my go-to thing. It's if I am doing poorly, I will get on a plane. I will go.
Hit the road, yeah.
Hit the road, dude. Hit the road.
Hell yeah.
So I hit the road. I came out with you and Shauna, and I ended up in the Keys.
Oh, yeah.
I ended up in the Keys on a boat.
About that.
So I ended up going to the Keys, and I had the best time. I'm on a boat in the ocean. I'm sober. I clean up to come out. I don't have access to anything anymore. Yeah. And I kick it with you and the homies, and I end up in Florida on a boat, and I'm jumping in the ocean, and I'm just like, hell yeah. Yeah. I got this. You know what I mean? I was like, I got this. And spent a week in the Keys, went back to Alabama. So I'd met this photographer online. I was in the middle of a huge relapse, and I studied Kanye West last year. He was my artist study. Yeah. He plays a big part in this. So shout out Kanye West, fuck you. I'm just kidding. JK, edit that out. So not gonna happen.
Just got the camera here. I'm not gonna start editing anything. It's just a roar.
So I had made these t-shirts that said WWKD, what would Kanye do? Because I've been studying Kanye West, and I'm like, man, Kanye would go write his book. He'd go make his album, and he would talk about it and talk about it and talk about it and do it and do it and do it. And I'm like, I love Kanye. You know what I mean? I love Kanye West. I respect the hell out of Kanye West, And I related to him on a lot of different levels. I was like, here's a person who everybody called an insane fuck up, and now he's one of the most influential artists of our time. And I'm like, that's the secret, is being able to walk through that shit. You got to walk through hell with gasoline boots on. But the point is, you come out on the other side, because none of that can last forever. Right. That can't last forever. My shitty things I did, all that can't last forever. If I'm alive, I have a chance. And that I had to stay alive though. And the drug I was addicted to, and the way that I was using it, The recovery rate for that is less than 10% right now in this country because of fentanyl and things like that. And,
well, you're 90 days into being that 10%. So
90, yeah. I mean, it's a miracle. Every day is a miracle for me. Like, look around. Like, this is evidence of, like, something great working in my life, like, outside of me. Because me, I want to hide, and I hid for years. I had to hide for years. I had to hide who I was and my true colors and the things that I want to do, like this stuff. You know what I mean? I hid from that for years out of fear and out of embarrassment and out of shame. And, you know, and I bonded with a drug, and it's a dangerous drug, and it's a powerful fucking drug. It's one of the most powerful drugs on this planet, and I was injecting it into my veins daily, multiple times a day, all day long. That's what I did.
What finally got you off it 90 days ago?
Here's what got me sober. So the guy I went to Philly to see, I relapsed, hit him up. I'm on a plane again. You know, because the guy's into me. This was November.
Okay.
So this is what got me sober. This was the catalyst into my sobriety. So the guy's like, you know, yeah, bitch, come on out. It's, you know, pumping. I had access to everything I wanted. You know, I stay out there like a month. Where I hit my breaking point was he went into psychosis while I was at his house, and it scared me. I kept a camera on me the whole time I was there. Thank God for streaming platforms and things like that. You know, they save lives. So I kept a camera on me the whole time I was there because I started getting uncomfortable. So my whole trip is pretty much recorded. I just started recording myself.
Yeah.
And some of the footage I can watch, some of it I can't. So I started recording myself, and I started publishing. The whole time I was addicted, I kept a notebook, which you read part of.
Right.
I kept notebooks and wrote every day while I was addicted, and I've started publishing them in a blog online because I want people need to see that. People see recovered and people see strung out, but they never see that buffer zone. That's the shit people need to see. Like, you know, it seems so impossible, but it's a process. It's a daily practice. Like, I have to wake up and decide, like, I'm going to surrender my day. I'm going to have some coffee, and I'm going to do what's in front of me. And the rest is noise at this point. It's noise to me. Like, I lost someone that I loved that I was going to share my life with. You know, I almost watched Rob die. I almost died. So the catalyst for me getting sober was I'm in Philly at this guy's house, and he ended up giving me Viagra in a syringe to shoot up because...
You told me that. Why?
Yeah. Well,
did he do it on purpose?
Yeah. I confronted him about it.
What was his goal with that?
I think just sleep with me because I may come across a certain type of way, but I'm not easy. And so I'm not the kind of person I'm going to do drugs and sleep with everybody. In fact, I'm more of a recluse. Like, I was getting drugs just shipped to my house. I stayed in my basement for 13 weeks straight.
Yeah.
And didn't leave.
I've never heard of, I don't know, Viagra being...
I haven't either. So I shot it up, and it hit me in a way I knew it... when you inject a drug, you know how that drug feels.
Yeah.
I knew immediately something was off. I felt like I was going to have a heart attack, and it made me want to throw up. And I confronted him, and he goes, there may have been Viagra in that.
There may have been Viagra in that. I've never heard of...
He shot
certainly
me up
not
with
injecting
Viagra. The guy shot me up with Viagra. Yeah,
not using that as a...
He purposely shot me up with Viagra, and at that point, I was like, this person could potentially kill me. I've put myself in this situation. I have a child. I have a family who loves me. I have a life. I have a life that fucking matters. And I was like, this has got to stop.
So did you do something in that moment, or did you just like...
Later that evening, I called he had gone into psychosis, and I was afraid, and I called my parents.
What do you mean by that?
So when you haven't eaten or slept, which methamphetamines keep you awake, and they decrease your appetite. So going on about 48 to 72 hours of no sleep and no food, you start to lose, you experience vasoconstriction, which causes a decrease in cerebral blood flow, which causes delusional paranoia, and you go into a psychosis. So you imagine things are happening. That's when you begin to hallucinate and see shadow people.
So how did that manifest in his behavior?
He accused me of just all kind of crazy things. And like I said, I kept a camera on me the whole time I was there. Because, you know, I've learned to live transparently. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyway, the guy was accusing me of all kind of crazy shit, and just... It was like I couldn't do anything right. I was beginning to panic. He sent me into a panic attack. And I called my parents, and I said, look, I've got a problem. I need help. please help me get home. And my parents had me out of there on a plane. And
that day or the next day or something?
I stayed in an Airbnb for about a week after my parents had, funneled me some money. I stayed in an Airbnb for about a week. Proceeded to do all the rest of my drugs, and then I left.
Did you have to give him the slip, or were you just like mutually like, I'm gonna leave?
I was like, I'm fucking leaving. I was like, I need to leave. I'm gonna go stay somewhere else. I'm not comfortable. I'm gonna go get sober. I have a kid. Like, I want to see my son again. Like at this point, I'm realizing like I may never see my kid again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like.
So this little bender in the Airbnb, is that the last of the drugs you've done?
Yeah.
That was 90 days ago?
Yep. Did the rest of my drugs in the Airbnb. Called my boyfriend Brett, and he rolls up to the airport, picks me up, lets me sleep for 24 hours, and drops me off at the ER. And I put a 96-hour hold on myself. I checked myself into the psychiatric unit. I said, I'm coming off of methamphetamines. I'm unstable. Please help me. I'm a danger to myself. I keep injecting myself with drugs. I'm a danger. When I inject myself with street drugs, I'm a danger to myself in that moment.
Right.
I'm a danger to myself. Help me. I stayed in the hospital for about 2 weeks. Moved into sober living, stayed in sober living for about 2 weeks. And so I basically like just put a citizen's arrest on myself. I was like, I can't keep going like this. I'm going to kill myself.
Yeah.
And Nick had died, and, Rob was sober, and I was just caught in between. I was just caught in a really hard place, and it's a rut. My mentor told me, he said, it's a rut you're in. It's where your wheel spins around and around, and you can't get out of the mud. Yeah. And I kept repeating this cycle, this insanity, this insane cycle.
Did the sober living home help a little bit too?
Yeah. I got to live with some cool girls, and then I got offered a residency, so I took the residency. Yeah. The artist residency. And
back at Waypoint?
Mm-hmm. Dan offered me a new residency, and I accepted. I love that place.
Yeah, that's a cool spot.
It got me through so much shit, and it's so cool. And the people are amazing. And, they've slowly become this, like, surrogate family. We go out and we live lives, especially me, man. I was separated from my family for so long. And I had to find surrogate family members, I had to find people like you and, like, our friends who have loved me when, like, I didn't know what that was. Like, I'm still recovering. Like, some things are still difficult for me. My brain's healing, my soul's healing. But I see little glimpses of myself every day, more and more, like, because I lost touch with myself because of just everything. I've dealt with a lot.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm proud of myself.
You done good.
I'm proud of myself. Yeah, I'm proud of myself.
You're in a good spot.
Yeah. And I went back home with this photographer. I was in the middle of a relapse, and I found this picture of this yellow bridge that just took my breath away, and I cried my eyes out. And I met this kid named Colin. And I said, do you want to go film the South with me? Like, let's go. Because I was like, well, if I show up with a camera, maybe nobody will shoot me. You're
jumping back to a year ago.
Yeah. So I want to plug with the book real quick. So Colin and I went into the South, and we photographed the Gulf Coast, and we're putting it together in a poetry book about family. So I'm writing the poetry, he did the photography, and it's all about family. And I want to publish the book for my family, like give that to them. It's photos of like my family's land and the South where I grew up, and a place that I wanted to see through fresh eyes. And that's why I got him to come photograph it. He had never been to the South before. And it was a place that I needed to see through a different lens, because I'd been living with so much anger and fear and just, bad memories of that place, just bad memories. And I wanted to see it with fresh eyes. So he came out, and we captured it. And we're I've got to finish up the poetry. We're doing, poetry about family. And it's just been a lot. The past 4 years, from marijuana march to rehab, have been so much for me.
Yeah.
But you know what? I'm going to quote Brene Brown again, because I'm addicted to Brene Brown. I'm going to quote her. Maybe it's not her. It was the president or something. But the people who are watching the people inside the arena have no room to criticize, because the people in the arena had the bravery to step in there. I had the bravery to get egg on my face because, abandoned for whatever. I'm okay with admitting that I was addicted to drugs today, because I shook hands with those things.
Yeah.
I had to shake hands with that shit. Like, Rob left me. It broke my heart. I'm still not over it. If you see this, call me. Just kidding. Don't. It broke my heart. I still have moments where I'm not over it. Like, I was doing flowers today, and he would always bring me, like, flowers. He'd always pick flowers and bring them to me, and I started painting flowers. So I was gardening today and thinking about him, and I watered daffodils with my tears. And, you know, my son does... You guys may not think that I deserve a damn thing, but my kid deserves for me to live.
Yeah.
You know? My son deserves to see me be great. There's some woman out there that's, 24, 25 years old who was in my shoes, who needs to see me recover. There are people who need to see other people recover. We've seen people die. Addicts, we've seen people die. We know the bad tape. We've played it through. I've lived my nightmares. I've faced all my fears.
Yeah.
I faced my fears. I had a fear of being humiliated. I was totally humiliated. I was ass of the week.
Yeah, you were.
I got crucified for thousands of people to watch. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I took it with style and grace. I did.
Yeah.
There's nothing else I could do at that point. I lived through an IV drug addiction. Like, you can't kill this cockroach. You can't, and like, some days are hard to get through, and then you wake up and you have the best day of your life.
Yeah.
And like, I was living in a moment that preceded a span of about 3 years, but there were a lot of great things about it too. You know what I mean? And apparently it was okay because, like, I'm sitting here now with a dream job. Like, this is so me.
Yeah. So you've been here 2 weeks?
I've been here for 2 weeks.
2 weeks?
Killing it.
Yeah.
Killing
Pretty awesome.
It's amazing.
They're super cool.
It's like, and they know everything about me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I didn't sugarcoat it. I'm an open book. I have to be an open book. Everybody's looking for a reason to discredit me.
This is going to be exciting. I think especially when the weddings start coming through and these dinners.
When this place blooms, it's going to be... I'm excited to watch it bloom. It's going to be something out of my dreams.
Seems like you're going to be busy. You're going to get into the groove of all the stuff you got to do and the stuff you want to be doing as far as this poetry book. Where can people find this when it's out?
Amazon, you're going to publish it.
Well, yeah.
You told me you would.
I will.
Okay, Kenny's my publisher. You heard it here live. He agreed. Yep. I told people that. I was like, well, I have a publisher. And they're like, you're lying. And I'm like, do I just sit around and make stuff up? I don't have time. Like, you know what I mean?
Do you ever go to social media that you want to throw out there, or just whatever people figure out?
I mean, I'm on Instagram.
I'll tell it to them on here.
Yeah. I developed, we can put a little link at the end. I developed this art personality called Boob Ross, like Bob Ross, but with boobs. Mm-hmm. And so it's boobross.art. That's also my website now. So this is Boob Ross.
Oh, so, and on Instagram it's just boobross?
.art.
Oh, yeah, I forgot you put dots on Instagram, yeah.
Yeah, boobross.art. So it's the same thing as my website link. But
boobross.art.
I grew up and became Boob Ross, and it's like, I paint flowers and squirrels and trees, and I just say, oh, life's beautiful, take a look around.
Hell yeah.
So boobross.art, and, my life's really turned around, and God bless Nick. I can't believe Nick died, man.
Yeah.
He was the one person I thought would make it. Like, I thought he would make it. And I always expected, like, to run into him one day at, like, a network. Because he was, like, started working with Netflix and things like that. And I always expected to run into him at, like, a party sometime down in the future. And we would be so proud of each other. That was, like, my big gay fantasy. You know what I mean? It's like, I'll run into Nick at a party, like a music party or a network party. And we'll both have made it. And we'll be so proud of each other. And we'll be sober. And that's not a reality for me anymore,
Yeah, well, you can still just do you.
Do it for him, He lives on. He lives on with his music. I've got a lot of his music. Went out to Albuquerque. I'm going to put it in an album. And just let the memory of, like, these people and these things and these places live on, because it should, man. Yeah. It's a hell of a story. Yeah. Like, I mean, you watched me at, like, really high and really low points. And I'm just glad that I had someone like you to do it with.
Yeah.
Like, super glad, yeah.
Glad I was able to catch up with you all these times, and today was so random.
I know. Today was super random.
Man.
It was great though. Like
You just hit me up a week or two ago.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, I'm taking photos of lobsters and stuff.
Yeah, we photographed a whole like 5-course meal. It's I'm working under an executive chef. She's been featured, on Good Morning America, NBC.
She has some awesome stories.
She is an incredible woman, and I love being the dumbest person in the room.
She met Michael Jackson, the real one, the beer Michael Jackson.
The beer Michael Jackson. Yeah, we're going to do a beer fest out here.
Yeah.
That's going to be big. You got to come for that. You got to help out with that.
Oh, yeah.
I'm volunteering you to be here for the beer fest. And yeah, I'm back throwing events though. So,
heck yeah.
If you're good at something, never do it for free. Am I right? I'm going to get a lot of hate for that. But, if you're good at something, don't do it for free. Shit, I got to eat too. I got a kid. My son deserves this. My son deserves to be able to come out here and see his mom and pick flowers with me.
That'd be awesome.
He deserves to come out here and see horses and cats and dogs. And most of all,
horses are cool.
He deserves to see me healthy. I deserve to make a living amends to all the people, to everybody, and I make my amends by living my best life, by telling the truth, by being a good person, That's how you make shit up to people. And I'm so glad I showed up here and I was like, oh God, I overdosed. This is like my heaven. You know what I mean? I thought I had overdosed in a hotel somewhere and died. And I was like, this is my heaven. But I believe in second chances. I believe in 5th chances. I believe in 8th. I believe in 10 chances. Yeah. I believe as long as you're alive, you got a chance. Yeah. And that's the point. You know what I mean? We got to love each other through this shit. We're so addicted. People are so on edge. COVID happened. COVID almost killed a lot of people. Nick didn't survive COVID. It was his addiction, but a lot of that, I think, had to do with COVID. Yeah. Addicts just were holed up in houses, and then it attributed to me a huge agoraphobia. I was afraid of people, places, and things.
Damn.
Yeah, I'd been threatened with this. Well, I was abused as a kid, which is how all this started, which I was embarrassed to talk about when we previously interviewed. But I protested Roy Moore because I was an abused kid, and I was a sexually abused kid, and that's where all this came from. I was a sexually abused kid, and I was a young mother. And I was alone. And I was like, there's got to be somebody else like me who, just needs to know that you're not alone. And loneliness and feeling disconnected from our loved ones, that kept me sick. That kept me addicted for a long time. I bonded with a drug when no one else was around. Yeah. It was me and my drug. And that drug took me and held me and wrapped its arms around me and made me feel all the ways that I couldn't feel at that time. Now
you got to embrace life and just get it that way.
I'm over it. We broke up. You got to dump drugs. You know what I mean? I had to break up with that shit, and I grieve it. It's like grieving the loss of someone you love. I'm grieving breaking up with this drug because that's what I knew. That was what had become comfortable for me. And I'm noticing too, with my brain, it takes about 18 months for homeostasis to occur in the brain from a methamphetamine addiction like mine. And I notice myself very inept in certain areas. In other areas, I'm very keen in. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to find that balance. My short-term memory is kind of off. I'm very self-aware of the things that are happening to me, which is great because awareness is the first step with anything. You can't fix something if you're not aware of it.
Right.
And I'm just very aware of these differences within myself, but I'm able to fix them. And I'm in a place now where I can do it. You know what I mean? I'm out here. I'm secluded.
Perfect. Yeah.
Oh, it's amazing. It's amazing. And I'm learning new stuff every day. And it's teaching me manners. All those things that I lost being a junkie because I found community with junkies. And I'm finding community now with very successful, intelligent people. And it's lifting me up. You know what I mean? And it's getting me back to that place I was in when we met. You remember when we met? Yeah. And I knew my shit. I could spit off walls like that.
Yeah, and getting after it.
I was with it, and I still have that in me. It's just which wolf am I feeding? You know?
Exactly.
And I'm just happy to be back on top of my game and doing the shit that I love and pursuing my art career. I'm a badass artist.
Hell yeah.
I
can't
gotta
wait
be
to
in
see
a
you
fucking
keep getting after that.
I know. And
You haven't
like,
even really ever stopped, even with the drugs. You kept going with that.
I did. I kept going, and I wrote, and I wrote the whole time I was addicted. You know, and that's powerful. Imagine if Kurt Cobain had survived.
Be wild.
You know, I walked through that addiction. I walked through those needles. I walked through my dead friends. You know, and I'm gonna lose a lot more people, but I don't have to lose me anymore.
Yeah.
I don't have to lose my family. I don't have to lose my kid. I don't have to lose all this. Like, who would want to give this up?
Yeah.
Like, I'm blessed. I'm a blessed person. And, like, thanks, man. Like, I'm blessed to know you. Like,
We'll keep it rolling.
keep it trucking.
Cheers.
Cheers. Rock and roll.
Anything else you want to promote or say before it's all over?
No, I was going to play a song, but I'm too tired. I might play one in the morning over coffee.
Sounds good. Well, thanks everyone for listening and first video podcast.
Yeah, I'm glad I could be your first. At least I'm somebody's first.
Hell yeah. All right, that was Liz Stewart. Thanks for listening to the story, checking it out. Catch you up on my travels real quick. The last episode, I interviewed Itzy from couchers.org. It was in New York City. Sat down with him in Manhattan, and I'd just been in Vermont working on that screenplay and whatnot. So the whole Vegas situation, y'all have heard about all that, and I thought I was going to get a free cruise, and I basically did. So they wanted me to come back to Vegas and stay for 5 nights for free, and if I did that, I would get a free cruise. So I was like, all right, let me try that. So I found a $40 flight from New York, flew out to Vegas, and I ended up hanging out in Nevada for like 2 weeks. I went and I got the cruise voucher, and it was free except for there's like fees and stuff they wanted me to pay if I were to go on it, like government taxes or something. So not entirely free. So that was a little bit of a bummer, but it was 2 free vouchers or whatever. So I was like, all right, cool. So I was still in the mode of writing. So I was spending a lot of my days writing. Lost a little bit of money. Meanwhile, in the casino, 5 days in Vegas altogether, and then I hitched down to Laughlin, which was like an hour drive. Took a little bit of hitchhiking to get there. Mostly just walking. I think I just got one ride on the way down there. Yeah, one ride. So I took a bus to the railroad past casino, which is what I like to do when I'm hitching south. Caught a ride from someone going that way. Kind of lucked out. 5 days in Laughlin, and that was just like purely just staying in the room, pecking away at the keyboard, doing some writing, because free room, looking over the Colorado River, and then I hitchhiked back up to Vegas. I think that took me 2 rides to do, 3 rides, 2 or 3 rides, to hitchhike back up to Vegas. Again, I had 5 free nights lined up, kicked it there for a little bit, got some more writing done, and was just kind of deciding what to do next, how I was going to do this cruise kind of thing. And basically the way it shook out is, I can't remember. That's how it shook out. Where did I go from Vegas? Oh, did I? I did. All right, so my buddy Christian, he wanted, he left his RV up in South Dakota. So he wanted me to go grab it and bring it to him in Dallas. So he flew me out to South Dakota from Vegas. And from there, his buddy picked me up at the airport. And I went and grabbed the RV. And then I spent like 2 or 3 days driving it down to Dallas for him. Which is kind of fun, especially used to hitchhiking. It's cool to have like an RV. It was a small one, so it wasn't too hard to park. And just cruise that thing on down. Stopped in Oklahoma City, saw a friend I haven't seen in like 10 years. Shout out to Shaw. It was really cool catching up with him, friend from like middle school. And then got down to Dallas, gave my buddy his RV, kicked it with him for a week or so, and hopping. So I got some news on hopping. I'm gonna have a bigger announcement, but I was kind of getting whatever. I wasn't hearing from my editor very much, and it's been so long. Like, we finished filming in July, and now it's March, and I really thought this was going to be out in September, October. So I just started kind of chipping away at the editing myself, and I've got my editor back on board, I'm pretty sure. So I think he's in like full gear mode. We got a schedule, and I'm here to tell you, next month it's premiering one way or the other. April, Hopping, episode 1, hitting the books. Gonna put out an episode every week from that point on. I'm gonna release a trailer here real soon and get an exact date, but expect April, late April, somewhere around April 20th. I don't know the exact date yet, but I'll decide that in the next week or so. But yeah, that's really exciting that that's happening. So yeah, that steered my attention away from the writing I was doing, the screenplay, just purely editing mode, hopping mode. Backpack and beer adventure, baby. YouTube.com/hopping. I'm so excited for that to get going. So I was doing that while I was in Dallas, and then that's when I heard from Liz that she was here at this spot, just 100 miles east of Dallas, pretty much. And she's like, come on out. There's a lot going on. She's doing their social media. Like I said, it's like a big property, so they've got an Airbnb here. They do weddings. This is one of the big things, this Texas foodie adventure kind of thing. They got a bunch going on that all revolves around the property, and awesome cooking. They've been cooking for us since I've been here, and it's phenomenal. The woman here has cooked for like ex-presidents, and yeah, she's top level, and this place is amazing. So it's like, hell yeah. So I came out here, and I've been working on my own thing and helping them out. It's been pretty cool. And that's it. That's where I'm at. That's where I am now. I think on Monday I'm going to go to Austin, go catch up with my buddy. He saw that I was in Texas and reminded me that South by Southwest is going on. I've actually never been to South by Southwest, so it's like perfect timing. So I think I'm gonna go there, hang out, get some more editing done for Hopping, hit up as many events as I can for South by Southwest. I've already signed up for like 20 free events, like tech stuff and just anything with free booze and free barbecue. I'm like, all right, I'm in. Shout out to Kyle for sending me the list of all the free events that's who I'll be staying with. So yeah, I'm excited. Things are happening, and good times are rolling. Oh, and I keep forgetting, just to mention, I put up my hitchhiking stats from 2021 up on uberhobolifestyle.com. I meant to mention that like 2 or 3 episodes ago, because I did that back in January. So anyone who wants to check that out, go for it. And as always, yeah, Hobo Lifestyle on Instagram, Facebook, and Freestyle Travel Show. Life is good. Beer is good. All right, everybody. Hope you're having a good time, and I will see you down the road.
Plans I made, I need a new escape. With all my shit straight, I'll get my big break.